Hey everyone, and welcome to 1.21 Gigawatts. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we talk about movies on this show. And we are actually catching up still with movies that are in the Oscar kind of race. We're not doing all of them, of course, but we are doing some of them. And this is going to be Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water. We'll start spoiler free, as we always do. And we'll give you a warning before we go into spoilers. Also, I mean, I'll just point out, you're getting some extra movie reviews right now because the TV is quite quiet. The TV is kind of the quiet before the storm, so we're having time for a few extra movies. So,
yeah, this month, maybe get a few in March. Don't expect anything come April.
Oh yeah, once April hits, TV's like absolutely stacked, so you ain't getting anything extra.
I will admit, I started that sentence not realizing that we'd actually slipped into March now.
It is March 1st,
Yeah,
that is correct. Yes.
it is, yeah.
So there you go. But hey, this is The Shape of Water. So now, obviously, the premise of this is pretty simple. What's the time? Do you remember the year it's set? If there's a specific.
I don't remember the exact year. If it says
it's a period piece. It's set in the past.
I assume 60s.
Yeah, 50s, 60s, something in that.
Yeah.
That range. And basically, we follow this character Eliza, who is a mute person, and she can hear things just fine. She just can't speak. She has an injury and she can't speak. And she's a cleaner at this research facility, and they bring in this amphibian creature, very creature from the Black Lagoon. That's all I could think about every time I seen him. Doug Jones, of course, is in there because he plays animals
All
like
of these,
this.
yes.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I couldn't help but think of Abe Sapien because the
Yes.
design's not a million miles apart.
Also Del Toro. I mean, obviously didn't design Abe Sapien. That was from the comics,
But also Doug Jones.
yeah, but also Doug Jones, exactly. So that's what's happening, and it's just a love story. Basically, she connects with the fishman, and Michael Sharing's the evil kind of like government guy who's trying to do experiments on it and interrogating it and being very violent and kind of is against everything that's going on. And he's the antagonist, and that is kind of the movie. And there's a sort of Great Escape-esque sort of element to it of getting the fisherman out and try to free him from his captivity, and that is the movie in a nutshell. That's the premise. So I guess I'll ask the question, Connor. How did you? And I know how you felt because I already saw what you rated it. Funnily enough, but.
This is what usually we hide our ratings from each other, but because I saw this, a good week or so before you, it was already up in public before, so it was like, well, no point in hiding it now.
Yeah.
I loved every second of this. It's, so there you go.
You loved every second of it.
Yeah.
I'm just so used to Tim like answering that question in taking like 5 minutes to like get to his point.
He's so roundabout, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to explain something before I say how I feel. Right. I want to explain just a little bit of my backstory with Guillermo del Toro because it's kind of a weird.
To be fair, not a million miles away from my history with him either.
Oh, interesting. Because it is a very specific list, and it's funny I mentioned Tim because Tim's like Del Toro's biggest fan. He loves everything he's ever done. He fawns over everything he does. I like him as a person. Like whenever he's in an interview or something like that, and I hear him talk, he's always very passionate, and I'm like, I could sit and talk to that man about movies for hours, days, weeks, months, whatever. But for some reason, most of the films that people love from him, I don't like that much. For whatever reason, I just don't get into them.
Often I find that they're all right. Like Pan's Labyrinth. I'm like, it's okay.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
I quite like the Hellboy movies. I don't love them, but I like them well enough. The last one a couple of years ago. What was that? The haunted house.
Oh, Crimson Peak.
Oh, I hated that with a passion.
I hated that as well.
That was awful.
I hated that film. The Hellboy films, I just think are kind of generic and okay. They don't really have much atmosphere. But and from the small amount of Hellboy I've read in the comics, I feel it's lacking the tone and the mood that series has. But yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, I think it's a fine film, but I have no desire to ever watch it again. I saw Kronos a while back, and it didn't really do anything for me. They're just kind of there. They are what they are. I respect that he made the film he wanted to make. I see that there's passion went into it. There's artistry.
It's art.
I just don't care about it when I'm watching it. I just don't care about what he's doing. Funnily enough, my favourite Del Toro movies are the ones that most people think are his weakest, and that's the stuff that's a bit more just kind of mainstream fun. And I'm thinking Mimic, I'm thinking Pacific Rim, I like those movies a lot. So
No,
getting into this movie was kind of funny because, on the one hand, I'm thinking, okay, this is Phil Del Toro, and I don't typically like Phil Del Toro. On the other hand, I thought the trailer was pretty good. I thought that the premise was nice and simple compared to like what some of his other like sort of solo movies are. You know, when I say solo, what I mean by that is outside the main studio system.
Yeah, not a big blockbuster.
Yeah. So, because this is a Fox Searchlight movie, so that's their sort of indie division, if you will. And this is probably the least exciting answer to ever give to this question, but I thought it was okay.
Yeah, and I knew you were going to do this. I did. I was watching this going, and like I said, I often feel a very similar way to you about Del Toro. For some reason, this one just hit right for me, and I loved it. I don't know what is different about this to some of his other works that made me feel this way and you didn't. I don't know quite exactly what it is. Maybe we'll figure it out through discussion.
I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of things I thought I dislike. There's some things that I like, and then there's just a lot that I'm just kind of okay.
I will say there is a moment when I was watching it. There's a specific moment where I went, "Oh, Peter's going to hate this."
We'll get to that in spoilers. All I'll say at this point, this juncture, is that was the moment in the film where I started rooting for Michael Shannon.
Oh, you're an awful person.
So, yeah, no, like I get what it's doing. I'm just not all that impressed. Like, I never really felt the emotion of it. Like, when, like, she's likable enough. Like, Eliza's likable enough. And obviously she's mute, so she kind of connected to the idea that she can't really express herself in the same way that everyone else can. She feels different. She feels alienated. It's a big theme of the movie is alienation. Whereas Fishman is obviously alienated because he's a fisherman. And then her friend Giles. Where have I heard that name before?
Oh yeah, real subtle.
Giles.
I don't know any Gileses. Is it Giles?
I'm thinking tweed jacket. I'm thinking English. I'm thinking librarian.
Not ringing any bells. I'm sorry.
A watcher. The word watcher's just springing to mind.
Come on, just get it over and done with. This is dragging out.
Like Rupert Giles, Ripper from that television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. All right, it's done. It's over. We can move on with our lives.
All right, yeah. Let's move past.
He's played by Richard Jenkins, though, who I do quite like. I do quite like Richard Jenkins,
who is also alienated because he's gay.
Yes, especially in the time period, you see some pretty harsh reactions when that comes up. Outside of him and Eliza. Well, Eliza knows him quite well. She knows everything about him, and vice versa. They're very close. They're neighbours, and right. So all of it's fine, and like nothing. Like I think the first act of the movie, I was just kind of getting into it. I was like, okay, they're setting everything up. Honestly, the actual romance though between her and like the fishman. Like I don't know, like it never really clicked with me, and it never developed to the point. So when it got to the point where stuff started happening, I kind of had the reaction of, okay, we're doing that now, okay. Rather than feeling the emotion of the scene and being like, oh, it's happening, I'm like, oh, I guess they're doing that, okay.
Okay, I guess this is one of those where I don't really know how to argue with that, because that's just
this is the thing,
feeling, isn't it?
This is why this is a weird review, because I don't know how to say why I don't love this beyond the fact that I just simply don't feel it. There's nothing. No,
that's it. It just doesn't click. Like technically, it's fine. Like you're saying there.
Del Toro is a fine director. It's very stylistic. It feels like a very unique world. It doesn't really feel like the real world. It feels like a idealized. Well, I mean, everything's kind of dark.
It's very gothic, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like a stylistic version of the past. It's not really what we had necessarily. And you can tell he's pouring his heart and soul into it. You can tell he's got a lot to say, and there's a sort of kind of dream sequence in the second half where I just kind of like rolled my eyes and went, okay, I'll check my emails while this is happening, and then come back, have the phone out, which you're not supposed to do, but like
very inconsiderate.
But I mean, to be fair, the place was empty when I was there. Okay, it was like.
We've all been there when it's empty and a film's not grabbing you. You're like, come on.
And I was just kind of like, okay, right, well, I can just, until this song is done, I can just check Twitter for a while, and then I'll come back, because I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about what's happening right now.
I love that entire sequence, alternative.
Of course you did.
It spoke to me.
And then I thought the ending was kind of underwhelming. My final thoughts when I left was like, oh, I'm kind of underwhelmed.
Oh man, okay. It went down a different way at the end than I thought it was going to. It surprised me a little bit, but not in a bad way, not necessarily in a good way, just in a different way. I was like, oh, okay, didn't see that coming.
And oddly, I felt like because there is nudity in this, and there's also some extreme violence at a couple of points. And I'm not against any of those things. Hell if anything, I love all those things. But it felt like it would clash with the tone of the film for me. I don't know what it was. It was weird. Like the first time there was like nudity, which was kind of early on. Like Michael Shannon and his wife at one point, there was some nudity with them, kind of early on, and it just kind of happened. I was like, whoa, okay, this is.
I think before that even you have Eliza like her morning routine. Like that's
you're right,
how the film opens.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, there's I mean, you don't see it necessarily, but yeah, there's very strong indication of masturbation going on.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't feel like it was jarring, because it was like, okay, this is like in the first 2 minutes, it was like, okay, this is what this movie is.
That's fair, but I think even that surprised me at the time. Though I was like, oh, I wasn't kind of expecting this. I
think it surprised me in the moment just because I didn't realize that's what the film was like beforehand. But once it was like, okay, that's what we're here for, I'm like, okay, it didn't get me from there on out.
Yeah. More talk about sex stuff and the spoilers, I imagine.
Oh, I'm sure there will be, yes.
But, yeah. The characters are all pretty likeable. It's kind of that thing where she's likeable, her best friend's likeable, her work friend is likeable.
Yeah. Michael Shannon is hateable.
Yeah, he's
in the right way.
Yeah, he's full Michael Shannon. That's basically the only way I can describe it.
Yeah.
What's funny to me though is he's kind of the opposite role as Midnight Special, where he was the father protecting the one who was running away. Here is the one hunting the one who's running away. I thought that was kind of just amusing.
He's a very versatile actor, isn't he?
I don't know. I feel like even when he's the protector, he feels just as dark.
No, he does. He's a bit gruff. Yeah. I don't know what I mean, but he has the ability to play both sides.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's the whole thing. The music is it's just a style. It's not necessarily my type.
Oh, I'm gonna fight on this one. This might be this is in contention for best score of the year easily.
How can you fight? All I said was it's not my.
I know, but that's the thing. Even that I'm gonna fight. This is everyone's kind.
I'm sorry. This is the thing. I mean, I'm not. I think Del Toro was better than Tim Burton, but it's kind of the same way, and I just even like the good era of Tim Burton that a lot of people really love, right? Edward Scissorhands and Beetlejuice and whatever, and I just don't like those movies. I don't like them, and it's not like there's anything necessarily wrong with them. I just don't like the way they look and sound. They don't jive for me.
It's the Tim Burton style, that gothic horror sort of.
And this isn't that style, but in the same way, it's kind of this unique thing, and it just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't quite click with me. There's a... Do you know what it is? And I had a conversation with Matt about this. I think it was on an Overload a while ago. Whimsy. There's whimsy in this. I don't like whimsy.
Do you know what? That's the thing. Most of this movie, there's not that much whimsy.
But it gets
there's
really
just
whimsy.
Elements of it, and where it goes, okay, now we're turning the dial up and back down.
Yeah.
Just in and out like that. It's not... I think consistent whimsical is easier to deal with in that sense, because you're like, okay, that's just what it is. But when it's spikes of it, it kind of can be jarring and throw you.
I don't think I like either, but but I think that's why at the start I was fine with everything. At the start I was like, okay, right, you're setting up the character, setting up the world. Okay, I'm a little bit, oh shit, okay, there's masturbating in this, sure, but like, all right, fine, that's what's
and then it gets kind of dark. It's like, oh, okay,
it's getting darker, and then it hits with the whimsy at key points. And I'm just like, okay, like I get why people like this, but for me, it's just, for me, I'm just, it's making it harder for me to connect to the story. It's just taking me out of it, and I'm looking at it now out through a window, and kind of like, okay.
No, I really like it as the punctuation sort of thing. If you look at it like that, the way the whimsy is used, because like I say, it's very keen moments. It's not consistent. It's like, okay, here's a pause. We'll take a break.
Oh no, in theory, I agree with that. I think if you replace the whimsy with something else, I'd be on board.
Because it's whimsy.
But it's the same way, like the way Tarantino or even Joss Whedon, actually, just to go back to the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, will use like really cutting humour, right after a dramatic moment to punctuate it. It's you can do that, and I will like most of the. If it's done well, I'll like it mostly. I'm not a whimsical. It's why I hate musicals. I despise musicals with a fiery passion. I am just so bored through them. I just don't get nothing from them. And I'm not saying I felt this way about this, but I think just those hints of whimsy throughout just kind of deflate the story. They deflate the emotion, and by the time it got to the end, I was like, okay, it's time to end the movie so I can go. I think it's fine. I think it's perfectly fine, but I don't really care for it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I think this is a prime example. If you watch some of our end of year content, you'll have seen on the TV reviews where we do a joint list of this is the best TV shows of the year.
Yeah.
This is a prime candidate for why we do not do that with the movies.
No. Coming at the start of the week next week, Monday. Like I think we're recording Sunday. It should be going up on Monday. Me, Connor, and Matt will all be doing our own top 10s of 2017, and we gave ourselves these extra few months. A, so we'd be in award season, but to B, to have a chance to see as many movies as we could before we
want it to be a well-rounded list.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll all have very different top 10s. I expect that fully.
Yeah, there's bound to be some overlap here or there.
Yeah,
but
there's at least one entry on Matt's top 10. I know it's not going to appear in either of us top 10, and I like the movie.
have no idea what it is, but I can't wait.
But it's just such a weird thing to have in your top 10. Like it's just insane. It's so Matt. It's so unapologetically Matt. So I can't fault him, but it's just kind of funny to me. But yeah, that's my feelings. That's my spoiler-free feelings on Shape of Water.
It's disappointing, but not entirely unexpected from you, I guess. What do you mean
disappointing? Why am I supposed to not disappoint with my opinion on a movie?
I feel like it's disappointing to not have a super positive conversation. For once.
We have plenty of positive conversations.
We do, but not recently about movies, newer movies.
Look, I know we're still hurt about Mute, okay? I know that, but we have to move on.
I'm just thinking. Before that, we had the Post, which we didn't love, but
okay.
Yeah. we had Gotham by Gaslight. I'm like, I want to come in and have a movie that both of us just love and we can talk about.
Hey, we had a pretty positive conversation about Mean Girls.
we did. That's an influx. I want new movies.
Right, Jigowatts. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you want from me.
What I want is for you to love a movie that I love. That's all. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, it happens every once in a while.
It does.
Happens once in a while. Do you want to do spoilers? We do spoilers then?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay.
Where do you want to start?
So she fucks the fishman, right? Let's start there.
Yeah.
Let's start with the fact that they actually have sex. I don't think this...
Did not see going in.
Well, I'd heard it only because I actually saw Tim tweet a while ago that his favourite movie of the year is one where a woman has sex with a fish creature. And I went, oh, okay. I can't wait till they build up to that. And honestly, I felt like they didn't build up to it that much. They just kind of... Like, they have an attraction, sure, they have feelings. But I don't know if I was quite ready as a viewer to jump to, it's time to get naked and have sex with something who's not even the same species. And even more to my point, I'm not quite sure I buy the reactions of the other people around her when they find out. Octavia Spencer's character, Zelda, she just kind of jokes about it and wants to know about how it works, and it's like, look, if my friend came to me and said, hey, I had sex with someone who was a different species, right? And I'm not talking about like a sci-fi movie where we've encountered alien races who are intelligent and we're all, living in society together and they just happen to be blue or green. I'm not talking about that, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, no, this is a sea creature.
It is. I guess the argument is kind of based on what you just said there, is that they know this is an intelligent creature that communicates. It has almost conversation. It learns sign language. It is essentially an alien by that logic. What you're saying there, it's not just a creature, is it?
Dolphins are pretty smart. I'm not going to stick my dick in a dolphin.
I can't argue with that.
Look, I'm not saying I'm against this plot development. I'm not. I just, when it happened, I was like, I was expecting more of a build up to this. That kind of like, maybe just a kiss first, for example. Maybe a kiss. Have them kiss first.
Okay, I'm with you.
And I'm like, I wonder if, like, 50, like, if Sally Hawkins, like, a long time ago, thought, you know what, I'm not doing full frontal nudity until I'm having sex with a fish monster. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, no. You know, I should have known about gunning because you know how you said you saw Tim's tweet. A friend of ours, James, refers to it as 50 Shades of Fish. Which is pretty good. And I was like, okay, I should have known.
I mean, I imagine this is much better than those movies.
Oh, even you who were kind of like, it's all right. Not you're not even going that far.
This is the thing. I think technically it's fine. The story takes some leaps for me, and ultimately I just don't like the overall sort of tone that it's kind of striking as the movie goes on. That's my main thing. But like, yeah, like when we started having sex, I was just like, okay, we're doing this. Like, I wasn't in the emotion. I wasn't thinking, she's.
See, I agree. When I think about it, I'm going, okay, maybe. But I was just so caught up in the moment that it didn't cross my mind.
No, I never was caught up in the moment. I never was like, oh, they're both alienating, they're finding each other. This is sweet. Because this is the thing. I love stories like that. Like anything like Iron Giant, right? He doesn't have sex with the robot. It's not a love story in that way, but it is a love story, and it's this bonding between, like, the alienated kid and then this giant metal robot alien who like can't blend in because he's a giant robot metal alien man. I can't speak. The point I'm making is that those themes are something I very much like, but it's taken to this extra place where I'm not against them going there. I felt like, oh, we're doing this now. That is the phrase I keep coming back to. That's what I was thinking when it started. I was like, oh, we're doing this.
I get why you can think that. I do understand that thought process, but I have, like I said, I was just so caught up in the moment, lost in the magic of the moment that that was never going to be in my mind. There was nothing in my mind except what I was watching.
I'm going to pick up on a word you said. This is not because I'm not making a joke here, because obviously I don't like magic in movies and like stories. Like, I like science fiction and not magic and fantasy. Yeah. That's not what I'm talking about here. However, I do think there's a concrete trend here for me. Whenever someone can describe a movie as magical, I'm probably going to hate it.
No, you're right. I don't think that makes them a bad movie or any worse as movies, but I think it immediately stops it appealing to you.
Yes. Like, you would describe a musical as magical. Because magical usually leads to whimsy.
It does lead to whimsy, doesn't it?
And I want to shoot whimsy in the face with a shotgun at point blank range.
Do you know what? I'm sorry. I just, the Star Wars, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate. You're like, yeah. What something leads to magical leads to whimsy.
I don't like whimsy. Whimsy's the worst. It just doesn't do anything for me. I'm just bored. I'm just like, it feels kiddie to me. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy kiddie. I'm a grown man who obsesses with superheroes. That is not a criticism. It's just, it feels kiddie when I'm watching it in a way that is just not clicking. It's not appealing to me.
That's got to be really surreal when it's a woman fucking a fish man.
Hey, it's a concoction of different things. I'm not going to lie, but there's definitely whimsy in there. She daydreams into a musical number because that's
the point where I was like, oh, Peter's out.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, I got the moments like she's going to speak because she's fantasizing about speaking, so we're going to hear her speak, and in this case, actually sing. But then it just like they're on stage and she's in a fancy dress and she's dancing.
It is a full Hollywood musical number.
Yeah, and
I loved it.
I'm just like, oh, okay. What's on Twitter?
No. That's the whimsical moment. I will agree. That's it. Okay.
Not just that. There's hints of whimsy all over the place.
Yeah, there is. But
that's the big.
Yeah.
That's the big whimsy moment. And I'm like, I'm into bonding with a fish monster. I really am. Taking that fish monster and putting him on a stage and making him dance.
That's animal cruelty now. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, we'll talk about animal cruelty in a minute. Don't you even start. That was the other thing. I don't believe... In all seriousness, right? Obviously, I was not fond of the implication that he was about to eat a cat. I was not fond of hearing them eat the cat. I definitely was not fond of seeing a decapitated cat. I'm a cat person, as people will know.
I was for him.
I honestly don't think anything afterwards redeemed him for me. In all seriousness, I don't think I ever felt like, oh, he's learned that he was wrong. You see him petting a cat at one point, and all I could think was, get away from the cats. What are you doing, old man?
I mean, but that was the whole point. And Giles was like, look, it was instinct. He was hungry. He saw food. He ate it. He didn't realize that it was a pet. There was no comprehension of that at that point until they taught him that.
I still want him to die after that, though. It was like, someone shoot him. Michael Shannon, do your goddamn job.
Just, no. Kill the cat.
I was mad at him after that. I'm sorry. I was mad at him after he killed the cat. I just thought...
That's it. The line has been crossed.
The line's been crossed, and now he's not sympathetic to me. More to the point, though, in the scene after that, and I knew what they were doing here when he touches him in the head, and then he touches him in the cut, and I was like, okay, he's got healing powers.
Yeah, I saw it coming.
And I think that is a bit of an issue, because at the end of the film, like, he gets shot, and then Eliza gets shot, and I'm like, well, they showed us he has healing powers like 20 minutes ago. I'm not worried about this.
No, that's fair. I think the question was we didn't know how severe the healing powers were, because, he regrew some hair, it healed a small cut. We don't know that, he can, bullet wound, this is, really bad.
No, we don't, but the fact that they set it up means it's going to pay off at the end.
It does. I think, no, but this is the thing. The way I thought it was going to pay off was I thought he was going to heal her wound so she could talk at the end of the movie.
Okay,
so she could talk to him. That's what I was expecting from that point onwards.
I was expecting that as well, specifically when they were in the water at the end. However, in a weird ending to the film, he gives her gills, and now she's living on happily ever after underwater with him. Whimsy. Anything that ends with that could be referenced as happily ever after at the end. Whimsy.
Oh, do you know what, I something I was like half expecting is, so they tell us that she was left in a river as a child and found with those sliced on her neck, and I was wondering, were they from like him, like one of his species, like, because they kind of look like the slices he makes.
Okay, never really delved into that, but yeah.
No, they don't. That's why I was like, oh, are they going to go down that route? Maybe that's what he heals her because he feels guilty, sort of thing. But no, she's a fish lady now. I love it.
Yeah, the ending fell flat for me. I was just like, huh?
It was different.
It can make her into a fish. Because the whole thing with Michael Shannon as he's like dying, because he comes up and slits Michael Shannon's throat, and it is like, super violent, like I said.
Awesome.
And he's like, you are a god, because there's people worshipped him, where he's from and whatnot. And then he goes in the water and gives her gills, and I'm like, okay, I guess he is kind of a god or something.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
I still find it very interesting.
Okay, I guess you can't argue with that.
What else do I like, Connor? I like rules!
I know.
All of a sudden, I can give you gills. Why didn't you do that earlier on in the film? You want to have water sex when she flooded the bathroom and she had to go up for breaths every time she came down to give you another bit of the blowjob. No. No. Just at the end, gills.
Why not? Happily ever after. What is wrong with happily ever after?
It's sentimental in a very thin way. I'm all for sentiment in some ways, but as a sentimental in a very thin, whimsical way. Look, I'm not angry at it, but the gills stink came out of nowhere for me, and I was just kind of like, okay.
Oh no, it was a surprise. Don't be wrong, because I said I was expecting it to go the other way all film, so it subverted that. But
I feel like once a film gets to, it's kind of like baseball, right? If I get to a third, we're doing that now, then you're out. Right? If I do that 3 times, you're done. I'm not into you anymore. And that was definitely number 3, I think.
So was it cat musical number?
Yeah, even the sex scene. I mentioned the sex scene. I was sitting there watching
sex scene. So that was 4.
Yeah, that was the 4th. I was already out at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I
also felt like the end of the film never amounted to much. I guess I was expecting like a more of a, I don't want to say action scene, but I was expecting like him to actually do something in water at the end.
Okay.
He actually gets into the water and Michael Shannon falls in, but now he's in his domain or something like that.
Okay, I get what you're saying. I think the point was that he didn't need to be. He's just because he's a god for all intents and purposes.
so boring. Like, I felt like there was just going to be more payoff to, like, oh, yeah, this is who he is, this is where his strengths are. And again, this is me going back to me liking rules and set up and payoff. I just felt like it was setting, there was no payoff to him being what he was, really. There was, at least as I understood it. Obviously, the payoff, I guess, is, oh, magic gills.
Yeah, and they're going to live underwater, so there's payoff there.
Payoff. I'm using inverted quotes, commas for the audio listeners at home.
You're getting a bit riled up here, aren't you? You're kind of forgetting words.
I'm forgetting words. Do you know what it is? I'm not even that angry. It's just a perfectly fine film that I thought was okay, and I'm never going to watch it again.
You just don't get why everyone loves it, do you?
It's not so much that, right? I don't really even mind that. I'm expecting the hate for this. So I'm doing a preemptive assault.
Yeah, you're playing into it.
I'm doing a preemptive assault, and let's be honest. What do you want me to do? Sit here and go, oh, it was okay, no more sentences, or do you want me to make fun of it and actually do a bit of my character up to 11? Let's do that.
No, might as well make the most of it. You watched it after all.
I'll tell you what I didn't like, and not in a critical way, just in this kind of disgusting way. The dead fingers on Michael Shannon's hand were kind of
grossing you out a bit.
Yeah, because they were kind of rotten and going purpley black, and then at one point he like just starts to rip them off, and you just hear the squelching, and it's like, oh come on now.
Yeah. Nice metaphor though. You have to agree with that.
Oh yeah, no, the metaphor's fine, yeah, but
yeah.
I just was like, oh.
I did like when he's ripping him off, how it felt really vicious.
Yeah.
Like, I like the other guys who go, the guy in the car is like, hey, what's that smell? I think that's your fingers kind of smell. I think they're dead. It cracked me up.
Yeah. I did laugh at his new car getting smashed though when they do the big great escape and like they're in the van and because we see him. He thinks he's got his new life set out. He's got his new house. He's got his kids. He's going to complete this job and he'll get a better promotion and he'll have a better life for everyone. So he's buying a new car to make himself feel better, and it gets smashed on the way out. And just him going up to it and kneeling down. I did think that was kind of amusing.
I loved in the dealership when the guy's like, he's like, it's just green or blue, whatever colour he says, and the dealer's like, it's teal. And he's like, dude, who gives a shit? Teal's not a colour. And then as soon as he goes in the next day at work, and so goes, nice colour. And he's like, it's teal. Just he's bought into it.
Where do you stand, blue or green?
I mean, assuming teal is not an actual answer, because it kind of is.
Oh no, it is. Teal's a colour, but I think you have to
more green than blue.
I would agree. I'd agree. It's more of a green than a blue, but obviously it's a mix of the both. But
it is a mix of the both. But some people will tell you it's more one than the other.
But on the colour wheel, it's more green. That's what I'm saying to you.
Okay, at least we can agree on something.
Oh, something. We got some sort of agreement out of this.
We agree on which side we fall down on teal.
Oh dear. Where do you go next? What would you want to talk about? You liked it. What do you want to talk about?
I did. So, how did you find the character Giles? And how he plays in.
I liked. Yeah, you may have even been my favourite. I think he made the most sense to me throughout most of the film.
I think by his nose, he's the most human plot, because obviously he's at points he is interacting with the Fishman, but a lot of it is his own thing. Yeah, it's
his own thing, because the whole thing is that he's against helping at first, and he's like, no, I want to help my friend, because you're the only person who's ever really accepted me and understood me. And the scene where, because he's got a crush on like the guy at the diner, and he has a scene where he's like, oh, maybe he likes me too, he always talks to me, and he puts his hand on his, and the guy freaks out and tells him, and this is right after he's been racist, or he's racist during the same scene. I think he starts freaking out at him, and then he yells at a black couple who come in, and then Giles tries to like say, hey, you don't have to be like that, and he's like, hey, you get out, like, don't want your kind here either. And the whole thing's very awkward, and you feel like his alienation throughout, and I feel like because he is and this obviously does mute people in the world, but it's far less common than just being gay. So he's the most real in that sense. He's also a struggling artist. He's trying to like do movie posters, and he's been replaced because they can just use photographs now. They're not using art.
And you got the idea that he lost his job because he was gay. They fired him, and then there's the one friend who's kind of like, okay, I'll help him out a bit, but not enough. obviously.
It ultimately just fobs him off every time he comes to see him. Like he has a very human story, I think.
He is, yeah.
The only part I don't get is why he's not more angry about his cat. But that's we've been
the cats were just there. He's like, one less cat to feed, I suppose. Oh. Joe, I'll tell you something I genuinely loved as a thing that how the movie sets things up is you mentioned at the start of this, she's mute but not deaf. And I didn't know that from the trailers.
Okay.
Because from the trailers it's very clear that she's mute. I assumed that she was deaf as well. I don't know about you. I just had an assumption going in.
I can't remember what I thought, to be honest.
No, because there was nothing in the trailers that told me she was, that she could hear. So I just assumed that. And the movie opens and you hear the noise outside and the alarm, and that's what wakes her up. And you go, oh, okay, so she can hear. Because immediately it's a very clever way of establishing that and telling us that then obviously shows that she can't talk. I think it's very clever in those sorts of aspects.
Not sure. There's a lot of stuff. She's on the phone at multiple points where she's listening to people. So there's several moments. If anything, it's almost like it was to avoid making the script even harder to write because they didn't have to.
But it was just it immediately happened like from the opening scene. Like that was like as it sets up. This is it. Just like okay, no, she can hear.
Yeah.
And like I say, from the trailers, I thought, oh, maybe she just reads lips.
To be fair, I mean, I was kind of cracking a joke there because obviously, if she couldn't hear, there's so many scenes with, say, Michael Shannon that would play completely differently because she wouldn't be able to understand them. But no, so it's fine. It's okay. What do you want from me?
It baffles me.
What about the Russian? What about Hofstadter, the secret Russian agent who's infiltrated the lab, and he's been ordered to kill it, but he helps them break it out instead?
No, obviously this is why. Okay, so it's all Cold War stuff. They're all these rivals and. Michael Shannon's character, he's even pretty clear at one point. He's going, I don't care, about saving it. If it helps us beat the Russians, that's all that matters. The Russians are as alien to us as this creature. And again, it's this alienation of he's in there, but ultimately he's a good guy. He's maybe he is trying to do some bad things on the other side. We don't know. Yeah, but he's a Russian, sure, but he's trying to save this creature just as much. So it kind of plays in that he's obviously alienated in this country. He feels alone, but he comes together as well. And it's like, okay, well, we're all still human here, other than the Fishman, and it doesn't really matter. Like the country's there, it's not important.
Yeah. Like he had the whole heart thing, and you knew something bad was going to happen to it. It was cool because it was kind of teasing it the whole time.
Every time he stands in the rain waiting for the car to show up.
Yeah, the scene where like he's Russian informants or his superiors come over and he offers them cake, but he hides a knife in his sleeve. He's like, all right, something bad's going to happen. And I think his ending, because obviously like they are going to kill him, but Michael Shannon follows him, and then he like sort of like takes the other guys out as well. But then he like goes to torture because he actually grabs him because he's been shot in the cheek, and he grabs him and by the hole of the cheek and drags
his finger through it, doesn't it?
It's disgusting. But he takes him. He basically just like inflicts pain on him until he tells him something.
Yeah, he's a scientist. He's clearly not designed to be withstanding torture.
Yeah. He definitely does not have anything remotely a happy ending. He doesn't even get to defy Michael Shannon in his final moments. He just has misery. He just has this dark ending where he's tortured to death and gives up the information.
So it's pretty unfortunate for him.
But do you think he should have had a more, I don't know, not a reward, but like it feels like he is the character who's shat on for the sake of us feeling bad.
No, I get what you're saying. I think I like it in the sense of in the same way that it doesn't shy away from the nudity and the violence. It's like as much as this world is this heightened reality, and it's still this element of rawness and reality to it. Of no, sometimes it doesn't go the way you expect. Sometimes they lose. Sometimes he gets shit on.
Yeah, okay. Watch the fish monster get shit on, but like
gets shot. Was that not enough for you?
No, he was fine. He got up like 10 seconds later. He was fine.
He still felt the pain.
Not enough pain. Oh. Kill a cat. It's time for.
I will say, I love the sound design for the creature.
Oh, sure, yeah, no, I can't fault to stuff like that. Sound design and set design and all that nitty-gritty stuff. Like, all of that's exceptional. So you can tell the effort's been put into that.
Yeah, as you'd expect with this sort of film, really.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I think ultimately I just kind of left feeling uninspired. Like, I just wasn't that inspired by it.
That's a shame. I can't wait to watch it again. Like, I really can't.
Because everyone else, I felt like... I think I've heard one person, maybe, who's like not been that keen on it, but everyone else is just kind of like praising it and saying, "Oh, it should be winning this year. It should be doing all these awards." And after seeing it, I'm just kind of like,
No, I mean, I get that feeling. It's, sometimes where people are so into something, you just don't get it.
I don't. I understand it to a point, but I don't quite get it. I just don't feel it.
No, I get that. It's not something I can argue with you for, really, either. It's not like I can change your mind. It's not like I can go, it works because of this, this, and this, because you already recognise that those things work because of that, and that. It just didn't click. And sometimes that happens when you watch a film, and it makes for an awkward review because you can't really criticise it.
Exactly, yeah. And I think... I think one of the things you can sort of judge like how much I like something before I've thought about it, before I've realised like how much I like or dislike something, is how quickly I get up when the credits hit. Because I mean, obviously, let's sit around too long for the credits. Often, maybe if the music's really good, maybe you want to sit there. Obviously, if there's a post-credits scene, you'll stick around. But I think if the movie's like done something that's really hit you, you'll sit there and just take a few seconds like to get up because you'll contemplate what you just watched. You'll be like, "Oh man, that was really good," or you'll think about how maybe if the ending was poignant. Like, I remember at the end of Inception, for example, just sitting there and being like, "Haha, Nolan, you bastard, you sly bastard." You're just sitting there thinking about it, you're processing it, and then sometimes it cuts to the title, the director credit, whatever it cuts to first, and if you're already like shooting out of your seat before the text is even on the screen, it's cut to black. You know it's the end. You're just up.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, right. I clearly wasn't as into that.
No, it's because on this occasion, I had a film that I was double billing at the cinema, and it would actually, the times kind of overlapped a bit. I was like, okay, I've got to be quick to get in and out, and I still sat and waited a good 20-30 seconds before I moved. When really I should have been, okay, black, let's go, next film.
Yeah. But, no, so I mean, I do like the production design. I like it more and say. It's very European, because I like it in stuff like City of the Lost Children, or we did Delicatessen, for example, way back at the start of Influx. It has some of that style to it, and I like that style when in other movies. It's just here there was other stuff. The whimsy of it just didn't quite land for me.
Flashed for you, yeah. No, it is a shame because I mean, you are going to get hate in the comments. That's going to happen. And as much as I'm disagreeing with you, I don't think you deserve the hate on this occasion. There are some times where I'll back the hate, go, yeah, give him shit.
No, because I don't want to shit on it, but there's just the thing is like so much of the moments in the film, if you're not feeling it, they just play as okay,
that's happening. Yeah. No, it's true because I've been. I know. There's been films where I felt that way. You've loved.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm sure there has been. I remember having this conversation and being on the other side of it.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, I'm sure I was more right in those cases than you are now. But yeah.
Is one of us truly right or wrong, though?
Yes, me.
God damn it. Well, the audience will disagree, and they will back me on this one. I hope. I assume.
Dear.
I mean, the bit that really surprised me out of all the stuff that you've said is that you didn't feel the score, because that is the bit that really surprised me out of everything you've said, because a lot of it I was like, yeah, okay, I can see why you're not going to feel this thing or whatever, because I know your sensibilities, but despite the score, I thought was fantastic, really.
I think it's just it fits the tone of the movie, and because I wasn't into the movie, I just wasn't necessarily feeling the music either.
Okay. I get you.
This is not the sort of one that I think I'd listen to on its own, even if I did like the movie.
Oh, I've listened to it like 3 or 4 times already since.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what else to say to you. So I guess it's time to
to give it scores.
Rate the
Yeah.
film. So you go first. You start.
You've already seen this. I gave this a 10 because I loved every second, and I can't wait. I came out of it, went into the next film that I was going to watch, which I won't name because it's unfair on it, and still enjoyed that film. But I came out of both films was like, can I go back and watch Shape of Water again now, please?
Yeah.
You're trying to feel like, okay, where's a fair score that's not too low?
Well, I didn't hate it though, so it wouldn't be like sub 5 anyway. But like,
no, because it's not a bad film, obviously.
I'm going to get shit no matter where I put it.
You are, yeah.
I mean, I've had shits for giving a low score to like Marvel films before.
Yeah, you have.
So, 6.5, I think I'll land on.
Okay.
I can give it a 7. 7 to me is good. But I can't fault the effort that went into it. So I think 6.5 is kind of where I'm landing. But I just it wasn't for me. It was basically the ultimate statement to make.
Oh no, it's a shame, obviously, because I'm sure you went into this wanting to love it.
Well, of course, I want to like it.
You want to like every film that you go in to watch, unless it's like obvious. Oh, I can't wait to hate this. But like you said, you actually like the trailer for this.
Yeah, the trailer. I like the trailer. I like the premise. What I think's funny, actually, and again, that kind of goes back to me liking things like Iron Giant and liking stories where someone befriends someone who's different and they form, like, or even How to Train Your Dragon. Like, where they meet someone who's like, not part of society that everyone's going to look at as if they're a freak, but they befriend them and it becomes this heroic, usually friendship. This case it was a bit more
romantic,
X-rated than just friendship.
Yeah. Okay.
Hiccup and How to Train Your Dragon is like, hey, Toothless, how accurate is that? Do I have to worry about you biting it off?
Yeah. Oh, that would change a kids' movie, wouldn't it?
How to Seduce Your Dragon. Well, that's the porn parody.
Inevitably, the porn parody.
Yeah, that's the porn parody waiting to be made. Someone in a really bad dragon outfit for those movies.
I assume it didn't happen for that, but I guarantee that exists when Skyrim came out. I'll put money on you could find it.
I'm trying to think of how you turn the word Skyrim into a sex pun. I can't. It's not quite happening.
I mean, the rim is already there.
Skyrim job. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Nailed it.
Yeah, you're cutting out some of your market. Not everyone wants to see such an incident.
It's not the broadest appeal parody, is it?
But I mean, yeah, for people who are into that, yeah, that's actually a perfect pun. Okay, I was going to say something else. Oh yeah, you were saying how like I always want to work like something except for a few things. I just wanted to mention that I still, up until this point, have genuinely wanted to like every Star Wars movie I went to see. The more people give me shit for not liking them, though, the closer and closer the needles move into that point where I want to hate them just to piss people off.
I never mentioned Star Wars. I was not even thinking of Star Wars when I said that. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but
although you
by
definitely
far
feel that way about Han Solo.
By far, most shit I get for my opinion on movies is when it comes to Star Wars.
I'm thinking of things like you went into Suicide Squad wanting to just hate it and rip it apart. Because there's no you look at it and go, there's no salvage in it. Might as well hate it.
Sure. Did I feel that way going in?
I think you did.
We must have heard how bad it was before then. It wasn't because I wanted to like a Suicide Squad movie.
All right, but definitely BVS. At that point, I think going in, knowing that okay, this is not looking good, I might as well get the hate out.
I think there was still like naive hope.
Oh, did you?
Naive hope.
I didn't have that. I can tell you that now. But
it went away pretty quickly. But there was naive hope for a little bit. There was you're Bruce Wayne's running around saving people. This is not bad. Oh wait, why is he floating in a cave with bats? What's happening? Damn it, Zack Snyder! I hate you so much. Yeah, I fully apologise to anyone who I have upset with my thoughts on Shape of Water, but it was better than Crimson Peak. I'll give it that.
I should hope so.
Crimson Peak was absolute garbage. But hey,
that was not the movie I was promised.
I just, oh god, I don't think I like Del Toro as a writer. I think ultimately that's what I've kind of learned, because he wrote this, right?
I feel like he did. That sounds accurate.
Yeah, it wasn't just him. He had a co-writer, but yeah. But hey, there you go. That's Shape of Water.
Yeah, maybe we'll do one more Oscar film.
Yeah, there's one more that's likely to happen. If you were watching my stream earlier, I may have mentioned which one it was probably going to be. So the inside scoop is there to go find.
So come back before Sunday. Obviously, it'll be up by then.
Oh, obviously, yeah. But hey, so that's Shape of Water. Thoroughly underwhelming for me, and then thoroughly 10 out of 10 perfect from Ginger.
I was surprised because I expected to like it, but I was cautious because of my history with Del Toro, and then it got me. It got me good.
Yeah, I'll make a spoiler for my top 10. Shape of Water will not be placing on it.
Yeah, no. This is why I said we have different top 10s, because it will be on mine. As you would hope if it was a 10 out of 10.
It's probably not in my top 30 of the year.
Wow.
Hey, I've seen like 70 movies since 2017,
That's still pretty low. 30 movies from the year above it.
Maybe hey, it's not like I'm putting it down next to Bye Bye Man. Like, there's a range.
Okay. You've got lines, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that.
What am I supposed to do? Put it above a movie I genuinely had fun with? Or...
No, you shouldn't. Integrity and all that bollocks.
I'm already pretty sure that when I do Overload with Matt soon, I'm going to have to fight him on that movie.
Yes, I saw his feelings on the first half of that.
Yes. So expect a fight. And
I think I'm going to check that out for myself. Give that a listen.
God. Anyway, that is us. That is Shape of Water from Jigowatts. Let us know what you think of the film. I've got a feeling I know how those opinions are going to go. In the comments, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. There's a link in the description. And it's okay that my opinion is different than yours. It's okay. The world will keep spinning. It's okay. Just like the film, it's okay.
Couldn't resist, did you? One mistake.
I'm trying to think of something I really like from last year that everyone would agree is worse than Shape of Water, but it'll piss everyone off that I think it's better.
You definitely had that opinion on something.
Power Rangers. I like Power Rangers more than Shape of Water.
I like Power Rangers a lot, don't be wrong.
I liked... What else came out last year? not like not just like top 10 material, but stuff that I'm like, yeah, I like that more than Shape of Water.
Kong Skull Island.
I like Kong Skull Island more than Shape of Water.
Which again, I agree, good movie, a lot of fun. Not a better movie.
Oh dear. Anyway, that is us, guys. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, and we'll see you next time.